What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Our Streamers Cheaters. Today we're going to be discussing BattleField, we're going to be discussing EA, we're going to even be discussing FIFA 21 and Madden. And the reason for this is because hackers have actually gained a ton of EA data, and this includes valuable source code. We're going to be going through an article today which is on wired.com. I'll link the article below if you guys want to go and have a read of it yourselves. But today we're going to be going over some of the details within it. Before we get started, if you do enjoy this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at BadBoy Beaman. It's the best place for you guys to contact me about any streamers, no matter how big or small, if you believe they are cheating. Right, let's crack on with the video. Okay, so this is actually a story on wired.com. As I said, it is linked in the description below, but we're going to have a little read through it, and we're going to read between the lines on a couple of things as well. Hackers stole a ton of EA data, including valuable source code. The video game publisher confirmed the breach, which could be a boon to say shadowy world of cheat makers. Now let's get started on something straight off the bat, is that there were videos created by other content creators which were stating that they knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who was in Activision who knows that the source codes were leaked for Warzone. There was never really anything that solidified that claim. It was just the YouTubers sitting there talking to the camera with nothing really to back up what they were saying. However, in this instance, there is an article written already, and it says that the video game publisher has confirmed the breach, okay? So that's why we're reporting on this today, because it's actually been confirmed by the video game publisher. Now, for those who don't know what this means, if the Warzone source code was leaked, which honestly I do believe it was, I just never saw any proof about it. If it was leaked, that is what has caused the cheat developers to be able to update their cheats within minutes of Activision doing an update. And that is why the cheats for that game are so cheap, and that is why there are so many cheat developers out there actually creating the cheats, and that is why the game has been pretty much tarnished with cheaters since day one. And that is that. There is no solid anti-cheat, and even if there was an anti-cheat in play, the developers for the cheats would have already had the source code, which would have included any form of anti-cheat, and they would have been able to work around that. So what we're going to do, we're going to carry on with this article now and see what actually gets said. Today, Electronic Arts confirmed the hackers stole a massive amount of data from the video game publisher. A dark web forum poster claimed to have obtained 780 gigabytes of data in the attack, including the source code for FIFA 21, and EA's Frostbite game engine used by FIFA, Madden, BattleField, and Star Wars Squadrons and Anthem. We are investigating a recent incident of intrusion into our network where a limited amount of game source code and related tools were stolen, an EA representative said in a statement. The representative added that no player data was accessed, and we have no reason to believe there is any risk to player privacy. Vice first reported the attack. EA has confirmed with Wired that it did not involve ransomware. The EA hack is the latest in a string of high-profile video game source code leakers. Last year, Valve, Capcom, Nintendo, and Ubisoft reportedly suffered similar data breaches. And earlier this year, a ransomware attack hit Cyberpunk 2077. Creator CD Projekt Red. The developer said Thursday that it has reason to believe the data has made its way onto the internet. Source code is an attractive target for hackers because it describes exactly how the sausage is made. Sausage. Why pushing this button disable that trap, or exactly where on an opponent's head your bullet must land for optimal damage. When it lands in the wrong hands, source code has the potential to threaten the integrity of online video games, their servers, and even players' security. From what we've already read here, we can tell from this little bit here, or exactly where on an opponent's head your bullet must land for optimal damage. So, with that source code, the cheat developers would be able to then actually make their cheats better by allowing you to aim at that exact point. Okay, lock onto that exact point, and then you get optimal damage. Okay, so that's just one of many things that the source code leak could mean. Bearing in mind, guys, the reason we're talking about this is mainly because of the new BattleField title that's coming out, and it is mentioned up here at the top that EA's Frostbite game engine used by FIFA, Madden, and BattleField, as well as Star Wars Squadrons and Anthem, okay? But the BattleField issue is what everybody wants to know about, and the reason for that is because how bad Warzone has gotten over the last year or two It's gotten to the point where it's a hacker versus hacker lobby on majority of the lobbies when you get to the last sort of 20 in a game. That's how bad Warzone's gotten. And everybody is crossing their fingers and toes and praying that Battlefield 2042 lands with a top level anti-cheat. Now, this news here is terrible news for those people, because if the source code for Battlefield 2042 has actually been stolen within this attack, then that means that the source code is already out there and that the cheat developers could well and truly already be on their way to developing top level cheats for this title. It says here the hackers are definitely targeting more high profile games and companies in recent years than they had before that, says Overkill Labs, who used to run the gaming privacy focused Crackwatch subreddit, either for reputation or to prove to the big companies that their security has flaws in it, or simply to gain money from them. While ransomware has been the dominant theme of recent high-profile hacks, video game source code is a big money commodity in and of itself, especially for cheat makers. Popular cheats are often designed by injecting bits of the original game source code into another piece of software. Part of why video game companies sue cheat makers, it's because they're utilizing aspects of the game code in their illegal products. Those suits often cite copyright infringements, or more specifically using copyrighted code without official permission. When they have access to the source code, they could easily see what makes the game function and how they could adapt their cheats to the game, says Overkill Labs. If the game had anti-cheat, for example, they could easily see a way around using it. And that's actually what I mentioned earlier. It's so simple. Once you have that source code as a cheat developer, then you literally have an open door. You've got the skeleton key for their source code. You've got the skeleton key to get past any updates they make on their game, anything they make to their anti-cheat. You've got the skeleton key to get through that. And I'm referring to it as a skeleton key because it's an unlock all. It would literally allow you to just walk through. So you would be able to tell the difference between a cheat developer who has the source code and one that doesn't. A cheat developer who has the source code would be able to update their cheats within 10 minutes to an hour of the game actually doing an update. So every single update the game has, which is probably to try and combat cheats, especially on Warzone at the moment, they combat cheats by doing an update, which is actually detecting a lot of the cheat engines. However, they are able to update it very often because the source code's out there. And it's going to be the same with any of these titles here. The source code is out there. There are a couple of questions that do hang over these situations. How are these companies allowing hackers to gain access to their multi-billion-dollar companies? How are they allowing it to happen when their game could be so much better with a solid anti-cheat and no cheaters? It's got to be one of a couple of things. For me, I'd personally say that if I was a multi-billion-dollar company and I had what could be the best FPS game since day one coming out, I would want to protect that. I would pay for the extra security. I would pay to keep them hackers out. However, they didn't, because the hackers have got in and actually gained 780 gigabytes worth of data, including valuable source code. Okay, so either they don't care about the game, they don't care about the people playing the game to the point where they've just allowed the hackers to gain access by not protecting it to the highest level, or something else is going on. There was talks about Activision employees actually leaking the source code to the cheat developers. Could that be the case here, as somebody at EA actually gave access to the cheat developers so they can get in and out? Who knows? Nobody knows the actual reason how they've got in. All we know is that their security wasn't at a high enough level to keep the hackers out at this point. So although the article is very vague, it doesn't actually give specific details on specific games, and I'm sure that's to protect themselves, to protect EA and all the games involved. Hackers stole a ton of EA data, including valuable source code. So that valuable source code is the one that we have concentrated on today, and the reason for that is because of how detrimental it is to whether or not there are going to be a million cheaters in the game or just a couple who get banned pretty quick. And the question still remains, have the hackers actually gained access to the source code from Battlefield 2042? And let's not forget the damage that can be done to the other titles involved. We've got a Star Wars title, Madden, FIFA. These games have a large player base also. So what's going to happen with them? Who knows? And we will keep you updated on anything that we hear on this story. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. If you want to support the channel further, hit that blue join button today and become a member of the BBB fam. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at BadBoy Beaman. Until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace!